Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's White Gamer. Today I'm going to teach you how to properly use advanced defending in EAFC 24. So the advanced defending is a new defending system that EA added this year that allows you to separate your shoulder and seal out from your tackling. So instead of just doing everything with one button, you can separate that. You can still tackle with the same button you always do, except this time you can seal out and shoulder challenge your opponent with A or X. To turn on the advanced defending, go to the left-hand corner, that little setting tool. Once you're in it, go to your settings, then go to the game settings, and then from here, go all the way down until you go to the defending part, and then where it says advanced defending, make sure you have that on. That's how you turn on your advanced defending. Now, we're going to talk about the different purposes or uses advanced defending has. Advanced defending is actually very, very good, and I highly recommend it. So the first use of advanced defending is, of course, the shoulder-to-shoulder challenge or outbodying your opponents, guys. Now, guys, the outbodying or the challenging of your player is probably the most effective one out of the three uses of advanced defending. This one's very, very good. The best time to use this is when you're at a certain length like I am right now, and then you just press A or X, and then your guy will launch forward to outbody your opponent. This is probably my favorite method to use, and it's very, very good to outbody small players, weak players. It is harder to outbody like stronger players. That's why I'm always saying that tall strikers with strength is still good, because it makes it very difficult to outbody them. But when you're shoulder to shoulder or right next to them, it's a good way to outbody them. Here's another example of using the advanced defending to outbody your opponent. Like I said, I'm in a pretty far distance, and the cool thing about the advanced defending is that it gives you like a motion forward, like a forward motion. So even if you're not super close to your opponent, you can still outbody them because it does like a forward motion. As you can see, I start to get closer to him, and then I press A or X if you're on PlayStation, and it completely pushes my opponent off the ball, and it's really good to retain possession or just pass it back to your teammates. The next one is you can pull someone's shirt with it, which is very good, so you can slow them down. The pulling of the shirt is probably my least favorite one and the least effective one out of the other uses you can use for advanced defending. The main reason is, yes, it slows down your opponent, but the bad thing about it is that your opponent can still get away from you. And the best time to pull your opponent's shirts is when they're in front of you. Like in this clip, they send a through ball. The opponent is obviously in front of me. And then as I get a little bit closer, you want to make sure you get close, guys. If I would have done it right here in this scenario, my guy would have just had his hand out and probably not pull his shirt. So you want to make sure you're kind of like arm distance from your opponent. Then you press A or X to pull their shirts. Make sure they're in front of you, of course. And then it will slow them down a little bit. Like I mentioned, it's not my favorite or the most effective one from the advanced defending, but it's still good nonetheless. This is probably the one that I use the least, just because, like I said, it's the least effective. But as you can see there, I'm pulling his shirt, and it slows him down a little bit. He still gets away from me, but keep in mind, guys, you got to be careful with this one, because if you're doing this inside the box, you can get called for a foul or just a normal foul outside the box. But this is probably the least one you should probably use, but it's still a good option to have nonetheless for the advanced defending. The third usage is you can also make tackles with it. Certain tackles. Now, for the tackles that you can do with advanced defending, the really cool and different thing between the advanced defending tackle and the regular standing tackle is that this one, when you're pressing the A or X and you go for the standing tackle, it will not only tackle the ball, but your guy will also like push off your opponent, which that's the key difference, guys, between the advanced defending tackling and the regular standing tackle. You got to be careful when using this advanced defending tackling, because it's only good when you're very close to your opponent, because keep in mind, it knocks off your opponent, which can lead to a penalty or a foul if you don't do it properly. Here's the perfect example of what I was talking about in the last clip on the advanced defending tackling. So as soon as my opponent comes in, I get very close to him. Like I said, you want to get very close to your opponent. And then we go for the advanced defending tackle again with A or X. And as you can see, guys, my pro not only wins the ball, but pushes off your opponent. It pushes off my opponent. So that's why I was saying be very careful when you do this. I don't recommend it doing this inside the box, because it can be very risky and it could cause a penalty. Like in this clip, it cost a penalty. I don't know if that was a penalty or not. That is all up to you guys to decide. But yeah, be careful when you're doing the tackling inside the box. I would just recommend you to use the regular standing tackle when you're inside the box, just because it's more precise and more accurate, and it won't shove off your opponent like it did in this clip. Now, the last usage that you can use in advanced defending is seal outs. This one's probably the hardest one because it has to be pretty much like the perfect scenario. So whenever your opponent takes this like a touch forward and the ball is in front of him or her, you press A or X, and then your pro will get in front of it, seal out your opponent, and then you can either keep retention of the ball or your teammates will get it. Like in this scenario, as soon as I was next to him, I pressed A, got in front of my opponent, and sealed them out. But be very careful, guys. This is very hard to execute. It has to be the perfect scenario, or else it's going to go for the advanced defending tackle, which could cause a penalty like I mentioned in the previous clips. But yeah, seal outs is very, very good. You just got to do it at the right time. That was it for the video, everyone, on the advanced defending. Let me know if you guys have any questions or you're confused about anything. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.